Dana Migliore here, your spiritual manifestation, energy healing, intuition coach, bringing you 3 things I wish I knew before I was 20. These things were crucial for my spirit evolution and raising my frequency, expanding my consciousness, and consciously manifesting. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so more people like yourself can receive the messages through this channel to help expand your consciousness and begin manifesting your dreams to reality. And stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to be revealing the number 1 thing that I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self. Now let's get into it. So where do I even begin? It took me some time to narrow down what I thought the 3 most important things to know before you're 20 years old, or if I could go back and know this information now, that would rapidly change my experience here on earth. Now, the first one that I actually wrote down here was cannot find love outside of yourself. And so for the longest time, I remember trying to fill this void I had. And I always thought I had to attain something outside of myself in order to feel whole. Whether I was trying to do it through relationships, through family, romantic partners, or any type of passion that I had or interest in hobbies I had, it felt like a never-ending battle. And even in the moments where I found a slight glimpse of this feeling, when I correlated and related that to this thing outside of myself, as soon as this thing would go away or wouldn't work out or, crumble, break, and fall right in front of me, would literally leave me powerless. It was like giving my power away. And I had no idea I was doing that at the time. I was just in search of filling this void. And it took years for me to figure out that I was the one that had to fill that void. Only from within myself could that be filled. And you know what the true beauty of that is? That no one can take that from me. It can't crumble and break. It can't walk away. It can't be destroyed. That's something within me that's always there. And maybe there's times where we lose sight of it or don't realize it's there. Like me, how many years ago trying to fill that void. But now that I'm aware that it came from within me and I took the time and did the inner work to really develop the feelings myself, that love that I was yearning for, I created within myself, with myself. And then every single relationship I had shifted because of that. Because every single relationship you have and attract into your life is attracted by the one you have with yourself. The one you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. Who knows what timeline I would be on if I knew this information sooner. It's so empowering when you can pinpoint truly what it is you want from something and know that the end result of it is for an emotion because you want to feel better. But the beauty in being a creator is that you can change how you feel in any moment. And so if you need that thing to feel better, instead of waiting for it to feel better, you can practice on shifting your emotion, shifting your frequency, shifting your energy to feel better now. And then all those things you think will make you feel better, if they are in alignment with that emotion and energy, will come into your experience. Your energy field is like a magnetic vortex, pulling in the people and the places and the circumstances into your experience based on your energetic flow and your frequency. And your energetic flow and your frequency, again, comes from your thoughts, your perceptions, your beliefs, which come from experiences, but they also come from choice. And a lot of our perceptions, belief, are picked up through experiences we didn't want or choose to have, to consciously have, but we still carry them. And then we wonder why things change, time has moved on, but yet there's still this underlying tone of why I'm keep attracting or dealing with the same thing. It's because you haven't learned to change those energetic things within you first. I like to call it the energetic DNA within you, the story, this energetic story that lives within you of who you are, why you are the way you are, where you came to be, how you are. And all those things, even true, are great, but your story needs to evolve for you to evolve. Keep telling the same story, keep having the same reality. And so that was like the number one thing, though, is to realize that love, that happiness, that blissful joy you are looking for is never going to be found outside of yourself. And you need to begin to learn to practice and cultivate that within you, because that's going to shift your energy. It's going to create a new frequency. It's going to create a new magnetic vortex, and then pull in new experiences that match that emotion. Okay, and so now the second thing that I wrote down here that I wish I knew before I was 20 was how others perceive you isn't any of your business. If you make it your business, you'll never be happy. Enjoy your authentic self. So this stemmed from looking how others perceived me and building my own self-worth around that. And it did stem from childhood, with my parents in the beginning, my grandparents as well, trying to appease what they would consider good behavior or that they are proud of. And so I really made their perceptions and their beliefs, I adopted them and I took them on. And for a very long time, I felt very uncomfortable. I wasn't really understanding why I felt so uncomfortable. I'm doing all of these things that are right and that should make others proud of me, but yet why do I still feel so horrible? Why does it feel so wrong? Like, why did it feel so wrong? And I let that go. I didn't really look further into it because I really didn't have the capacity to understand what was taking place. My inner guidance was kicking on and making me feel negative emotion, even though everybody around me was like, yay, good for you. You're a good girl. I'm proud of you. Yet I didn't feel it on the inside. That left me feeling so confused. But I didn't really know the answers. So I just kept following suit for a very, very long time. And I remember I would get to points where it didn't even matter how long I had conversations with people, because I was always scared to make a decision because of this. Because I took on other people's perceptions and beliefs and never really developed my own and what resonated with me on a soul level, I would just use theirs. I felt this disconnection. I felt uncomfortable. And then when it came time to making a decision, I didn't know how to make the decision because I was using other people's beliefs and perceptions, which didn't feel good to me. And I just felt like this ping pong going back and forth. And I always felt anxiety over making this wrong decision. And so even sitting with somebody, talking to the person, trying to get them to tell me what to do because I didn't know how to make the decision for myself. And even an hour of that conversation, no matter what was said, no matter how much clarity I thought I might have had in that moment, as soon as the conversation was done and I was by myself, I'd be like, no, I'm still confused and I don't know what decision to make. And the reason that happened is because I never truly developed my own. Fast forward years later, when I made the conscious decision that I didn't want to live life doing that anymore. I'm aware that these aren't my beliefs. These are my perceptions. I adopted and picked these up along my way. and how this program is playing out my life, I'm completely not happy with it. So I made the decision at that point that I would do what it takes to learn how to change this. Because I knew in changing this, my whole life would change, and it did. And anybody can do this. It does take willpower. It does have, you need that hunger to really want to do it. And it makes it easier when somebody you know or trust or look up to has done it before you and gives you guidance along the way. And so this is why I incorporated that into the Spirit Ascension process, because I'm not the only one. There's so many other people in my shoes that might resonate with this and desire to have that assistance. And that's why, I made sure to include that in my program. This is very important in how you become a conscious creator. That has everything to do with your energetic field, your frequency, and all of those things have everything to do with your experiences, what you feel, what you believe, what you perceive. It all comes together. And so, if I knew that before I was 20 years old, that would have shifted and changed things. I'd be on a complete different timeline. Now, I'm happy to be on this timeline. I don't regret where I'm at on this timeline, because I wouldn't be here having another realization and being where I am to deliver these types of messages that may help somebody feel heard, may help somebody have a realization of their own, and help them on their own journey in realizing who their authentic self is. Because I was like, who is my authentic self? Taking time to identify who you truly are and awakening to this realization, this connection, is one of the most powerful and beautiful things that I've experienced here on earth. And if you haven't had the time yet to dedicate or feel eager enough to want to get to know your true authentic self, what are your beliefs? What do you believe in? What resonates with you on a soul level? And how can you shift your core beliefs to align with that and begin thinking and feeling and acting accordingly to these core beliefs will shift your reality. It is such a beautiful process. Okay, and so now the third thing that I wrote down here, this one's a little bit shorter what I wrote here, but I said my relationship and the energetics and beliefs with money. Yeah, okay. Because the way I adopted, this has a lot to do with also number 2, but it's a little bit different because it's specific to how income is generated. How I watched my grandfather talk about money, how he would give his hard-earned money out to family during Christmas and Easter, and how everybody would hide what they received, and how everybody would react with money. The conversations around the dinner table growing up about money, or when I pointed out I wanted something and I was told I couldn't have it because they couldn't spend the money on that, or because spending money on that is insignificant, so I'm insignificant. So many things trickled down to the effects of the energetics beliefs in my relationship with money. And I suffered a very long time. But I also learned a lot of things. My dad taught me how to save money, how to invest money. Very important things to know. So I don't regret that. It's just at a certain point, you need to pick and choose what's working that you've adopted and learned from other people, and what's no longer allowing you to get to what your vision is, to get to the reality you really seek for yourself. Because if you're really living in this limited box, let's put it in a box per se, and you're living through the lens of somebody else's perception and belief, let's say about money, how are you going to expand beyond there and to get to the reality you want if you're living from this limited perception. Money I still work with. Money was one of the deepest rooted beliefs I had, based on that money was really hard to come by. Money you really had to work for. Money you really had to save. Money didn't come easily. All these, like, I don't even want to say them on this podcast to spark any more of your subconscious beliefs that you may have rooted in you that are limited to how you make income. But this should spark in you, what is my relationship with money? How am I viewing money? Like, I truly believed if I quit my 9-to-5 job, this stuck with me. I was there for 13 years at this job. And in the first 5 years, I knew I wanted to quit. In the last 5 years I was there, I was living in anxiety. I was living in fear. I couldn't sleep at night. Every day I was like, this is the day. I'm just going to get up and quit today. I don't know what to do. But there was these beliefs in me that you need this job. You won't be able to make a living or income without this job. And I knew that I wasn't going to get where I truly desired to be if I kept those beliefs. And it may have been a drastic decision, but I didn't know what other decision to make at that time. And my inner soul was calling me. I was like, if I stay here, I'm always going to have this belief. I don't know how to shift this belief being here. So I feel like this has served what it needed to serve for me. And I just need to let this go and figure out what I want to believe in about money and begin shifting my energetics around it. I actually made it a lot harder on me because most people, when they find themselves at crossroads here, they work on their one new reality till it gets to a specific point where they leave off their old one. Well, in my case, I had no idea what my new reality was going to be like. I had no clue. All I knew is I didn't want to be on this road anymore. So I completely just cut the road off and I erased it and I started fresh. It was really hard, but I don't regret the decision. It's been evolving beautifully, but I can only imagine the process I would have got with reframing my beliefs and perceptions and my relationships and my energetics around money at 20 compared to like 33, which I'm going to be 36 now. I didn't start working on that till right when I left the job, right? That's when I was like, okay, this is the time to work on this now. And in the last couple years, I've shifted and started making incomes in different ways. And here I am, on this podcast, here on this YouTube now, here with you. And it's just been a tremendous journey. But now the one thing that I wish, if I could go back in the time machine and tell my younger self one thing, as my older self now, picture yourself in a time machine. Go close your eyes, put yourself walking to the machine, bumping into a certain date in the time board, and going to your 5-year-old or 10-year-old self and telling them one thing. What would it be? For me, it would be to believe in yourself. Believe in that inner soft whisper that you receive, because there's no worse feeling than feeling your inner guidance tell you to do something and give you tingles and shivers in your body and resonance that you should do something, and then go to somebody else to look for that validation and they say, no, that's stupid, and that resonance just crumbles and falls away, and you're left feeling horrible because it felt so amazing and someone told you it was stupid, and someone told you you shouldn't believe in it, you shouldn't put any effort to that because that is not complete nonsense. And so if there was one thing that I could tell my younger self, which was don't listen to them. Listen to that inner belief. Listen to that soft, gentle guidance and whisper within you, because that's the true power. That's your higher self. If I knew that then, that to make that connection and relationship to my inner self before I allowed anybody else outside of me and their relationship to affect me, the number one relationship you're ever going to have that sets the tone for every other experience in your life is the one you have with yourself. I really appreciate you tuning in today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did and it resonated with you, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get the notifications. You don't miss episodes coming out. There's going to be future meditations here to help you expand your consciousness, elevate your frequency, and begin manifesting your dreams to reality. I'll see you in the next video.